Hello everybody, Rainbow Red Panda here, and today I'm going to be talking about Wrestlemania number 32. It was last night, and surprisingly, I pretty much loved it. I was not expecting to like it. I almost did a WrestleMania pre-show, but I just didn't have time. I was doing so much stuff yesterday, and I really just didn't have time to do one. Going into WrestleMania, if you've watched the last few of my wrestling videos, I really was not excited about it. I was not looking forward to the main event at all. I was really trying to figure out what they were going to do with the Taker versus Shane match. I wasn't excited about really any of the other matches. I was excited about the Divas match, and that was basically all I was looking forward to going into this event. However, they completely did so many things right and so many things that I was not expecting that I ended up really, really loving the show. There were still some things that I didn't like and that I wish were different, but for the most part, they did positive things and it made me feel very satisfied having watched it. So that will be all I will say without spoilers. So if you haven't watched it yet, I suggest going to the network, I guess if you still do pay-per-views, going to the pay-per-view place that you get pay-per-views and buying it. And if you've seen it, or if you just don't care about spoilers, then continue watching. So I'm not going to talk about the pre-show stuff for the most part, because it's going to be a long video anyway, and the pre-show stuff is just going to be making it longer. If you want my full opinions, I'm going to be doing a podcast with the Nerd Rage Renegades about this topic that will air in a week or two. So definitely check that out if you want my full, very long opinion about stuff, because I'm going to try and keep this video as short as possible. I will say with the pre-show, I did like the way that the Diva at the time, the Divas tag team, or the tag match went. The only problem I had was I don't really watch Total Divas enough, and so while I'm watching the match, I'm like, wait, this girl on the other team used to be on Total Divas, and so did this person. When were they not on the show anymore? So to me, that was a little weird. I think that's something that should have been maybe pointed out in the storyline, was that Naomi was on Total Divas, Summer Rae was on Total Divas, but I like that Brie Bella got the win, and it looks like this is going to be her last match in the WWE, possibly wrestling at all. I think that she definitely has babies on the brain, and so she's going to leave to go and have a child with Daniel Bryan, now that they're both sort of able to do that. So congratulations to her. Whether you like the Bellas or not, Brie's sort of my favorite of the two Bellas, so I'm gonna be a little sad to see her go and all that, but moving on to the actual show. I will try and go in order. I don't remember the exact order that the matches occurred, but I do remember the very first match, because it was the 7-man Intercontinental Champion ladder match. I did not expect the ending of it at all. It was a really great match. I'm not the biggest fan of Sin Cara or the Lucha Dragons at all. I don't know why. They just sort of annoy me. But I really loved Sin Cara's springboard save that he did whenever he fell off of the ladder. I thought that was amazing, and I always wonder whenever things like that happen, how many times, if they rehearsed that at all, because I feel like in planning of the match, you can just be like, oh yeah, I'll do that. You have to practice that. You have to, in my mind. I would have to practice that. So I'm glad that worked for him, because that definitely could have been a bad thing. But I'm glad that worked for him. Probably in the last fourth of the match, whenever it showed Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens climbing to the top of the ladder, I was just like, okay, one of these two is going to win it. Not in that moment, but I'm the other wrestlers, these two are the new blood in this company, and I felt like they were going to get it. And I honestly, there were some people that I was just like, okay, this guy's definitely not going to win. Not because I don't want him to win, but he's just not going to. And the end of the match, when Zack Ryder pulled that title down, I'm going to be honest, I cried. I have been a fan of Zack Ryder for a while now. Yeah. And I did not expect him to win it. He was, to me, the most underdog of that match. I don't even really know why I didn't even understand really why he was in it. I loved seeing him there. I loved seeing him at WrestleMania, but I didn't expect him to win it at all. But whenever he won, I was so excited, and I was telling anybody that has ever said anything to me about Zack Ryder. I was just like, you guys have to, like, no one that I really knew was watching WrestleMania last night because it was Walking Dead night and all this stuff. And so many people have lost interest in wrestling because of what it's become lately. And I'm just like, guys, you have to watch this WrestleMania. Like, I have faith in it now. So him winning that title was amazing. This will be something that I definitely will talk further about on the podcast. I could probably talk about him winning and just my thoughts on being happy for him for a long time. So I'm really happy that he won. I hope that this is a legitimate title reign for him. It's not just like he loses it tonight on Raw and the rematch or something like that. I really hope that he gets a legitimate run and he gets what he has deserved for so many years now. I really hope that he gets this chance. So congratulations, Zack Ryder. I'm so excited. Moving on from that, we had, what was the next match? I don't exactly remember, so now I'm just gonna say matches. We had the New Day versus League of Nations. I really loved how the New Day came out to the huge box of Bootio's cereal. I thought that was amazing. The match was a good match. I wish that Wade Barrett had been in. I think if I was picking from the League of Nations, I would have put Sheamus, Wade Barrett, and Rusev in and had Alberto Del Rio set out, or maybe him have a match on his own with somebody else. But I was really upset that Wade Barrett was sitting out. And I've heard a lot of rumors in the last few months that this was going to be his last WrestleMania because he's not completely satisfied with how he's being used in the WWE right now. And after seeing that he wasn't even really part of WrestleMania, I totally understand. So this may have been our last time seeing King Barrett at WrestleMania, and I really wish that if that's the case, that they would have actually used him in the match instead of having him just be ringside. But after that match was over, like that match, alright, it was a good match. But after that match was the best. It was something that I did not see coming. League of Nations in there after their victory, doing their trash talk to everybody. And then all of a sudden you hear Shawn Michaels' music. He comes out, like you're kind of confused, like why is, he doesn't wrestle anymore. Then he has his gear on. Mick Foley comes out, Stone Cold comes out. It's amazing seeing all three of them together in the ring, taking care of things. It's another one of those things, like, I didn't know that I wanted that, but now that it happened, like, I definitely did. I wanted that forever. Like, since I was a little girl, I wanted that and just didn't know it. So I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that I got to see that. And that was so amazing to me. And also, I'm really looking forward to Mick Foley's Holy Foley that's coming out on the WWE Network. I love Mick Foley, and I'm really excited to watch his show. So I don't watch all the shows on WWE Network, but that's definitely one that I'm gonna want to check out. So I'm excited for that show. I'm excited that he was at WrestleMania. I'm excited that all three of them were. I don't know. I loved everything about that match. So that match happened, and then we had what was supposed to originally be the Divas title match, but before WrestleMania started, Lita came out and announced that they were getting rid of the Divas title, and it is back to being the women's title, the women's championship. So I was really excited for that. I honestly thought that this was Sasha Banks' night. I really thought that it was going to be her turn. Personally, for me, I wanted Becky or Sasha to win. I didn't care between the two, but I really thought that they were going to give it to Sasha because why wouldn't they? I don't know. I just really think that it's her time, that she should have the title, and to me, it was just going to be perfect. They've made such a big deal. They had like a WrestleMania diary of her this whole last week. To me, it just would have been perfect for her to finally win this title. Unfortunately, it was a good match. It was a really great match, but with Ric Flair at ringside, whatever, I'm sort of over him being at ringside. It's like him interfering the way that he did he wasn't cheating per se, but the match would have ended differently had he not been at ringside. So whatever, Charlotte is still the winner. She's the new first ever women's championship title holder. It'll be interesting to see what they put on her little things that she puts on the side of the title, her little plates. But I really honestly think that Sasha should have had that. I think that her entrance was amazing, coming out with her entrance being performed live and with her cousin sort of walking her down, Snoop Dogg. I don't know. I really loved her coming out, and I was really excited to see her win, but it didn't happen. So, oh well. What are you gonna do? The next match, Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. I was excited for this match, because it's a street fight. Like, it has so much, like, all the hype building up to it. You had Mick Foley giving him his bat, and all the stuff that that Dean Ambrose collected leading up to this match. I really had so much expectations for this match because it just had the potential to be amazing, and I really expected Dean Ambrose to come down with like his thing, like his big red bin of weapons, and for this match to go all over the arena. And it's a street fight, and they really didn't even leave the ring that much. And if they did leave the ring, they just were at like outside of the ring, like around the ring. They didn't go, up the ramp. They didn't go behind the scenes. They didn't do anything, and to me, that was not a street fight at all. It should not have been called a street fight. If anything, it should have just been called like a hardcore match or just a no disqualification match, because there was nothing in there that said street fight. For Brock Lesnar being, the monster that he is, and Dean Ambrose being like the never say die attitude that he has, that match had so much potential to be so epic, and it just did not have the it was such a letdown. It became, how many Germans is Brock Lesnar gonna give Dean Ambrose? And that's not what it should have been. This wasn't a suplex match. This was a street fight. And I'd have never seen a street fight where people are doing German suplexes on each other. So, yeah, the match, it had so much potential. I mean, Brock Lesnar winning is the obvious thing there. I wouldn't have been surprised if Dean Ambrose had won. I think if it would have been a legitimate street fight, like in real life, obviously Brock Lesnar would have won. But if they would have actually done the actual street fight angle, I think that they would have put it with Ambrose winning. But I really think that match was a letdown. It could have been so much better. I was really surprised that more weapons didn't show up. There's only certain ones that did, and my computer kept glitching. So it's possible that this happened and I just didn't see it. So if it did, please don't get upset that I'm saying that it didn't happen. But as far as I remember seeing, I did not see it happen. I was kind of upset that Dean Ambrose did not bring out the barbed wire bat that Mick Foley had given him, because the Walking Dead premiere, or the Walking Dead finale, was last night also, and everyone knew that Negan was going to happen, and Negan has Lucille, which is the same thing. To me, that would have been a perfect tie-in. Like, give the wrestling fans their own Lucille. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen that. Maybe it happened and I just I just didn't see that part. It is very possible, but if it didn't happen, it should have happened. That's all I'm going to say. That match was a little bit of a letdown for me, so that's my story on that. The next match that happened, I was a little surprised that it happened so early in the card. I kept debating between people, is this going to be the last match of the night? This should be the finale of WrestleMania. It should be. But it was not. It was the third to last match, and then they also had some other stuff that happened in between those matches. So it was really kind of low on the card for me. And it was the Taker Shane match. And seeing where it was placed, I knew that it was going to be Taker that won. Because if they're going to have this be Taker's last match, or have something, Shane taking over the company, I really think that it would have been the main event. because everyone's like, no, the title matches are always the main events. No. Sometimes whenever Taker's streak was still intact, they would have the Taker matches last because people cared more about those matches than they cared about the title match. And that's still true today. I was more invested in that Taker Shane match than I was in the Triple H Roman Reigns match. That match just couldn't have even had that. If that match just got cut from the card, I would not have cared. I would not have missed it at all. The Taker Shane match. This whole time I made a video about it. I had so many feelings leading up to it. I didn't know how they were going to do it. And then they added on, you know, if Taker loses, he retires. I didn't like that stipulation at all because it was something that Taker didn't specify. It was something Vince McMahon specified. I had so many feelings about this match. I love both of them. So obviously I didn't want to see either one of them lose, but I didn't want to see Shane win necessarily because it's WrestleMania and it's The Undertaker. So I had so many feelings going into this match. You know, who's going to win? How are they going to do it? Is it going to be a legit win? Is it going to be like all of the people in the world get involved and, you know, cost one of them the match? But having it where they had it kind of instantly gave away, at least in my brain, that Taker was probably going to win. One, because it was before the title match. And in theory, if they would have had Shane win, Shane would have immediately fired Triple H, Stephanie, and Vince. And if he fired Triple H, he would not have been able to have a title match. So, while Shane did not win, I would like to think that they would not have overlooked that if he had won. So, I was sort of thinking about that. I was also just thinking, if Taker retires, they're not going to do it this early. So, to me, that means that at the end, Taker's going to win. The match was amazing. I hated it, but I also loved it. I hate it, like, the whole time I'm just texting people, I hate this, this match needs to be over, Taker has to win, Shane cannot win, like, I'm just, like, blowing up everyone, like, I hate this match, and I hated it because I was so emotionally invested in it. That's just how I am with Taker matches at WrestleMania. I get so invested that I hate them. I hate them because they make me care too much, and I hate it. When Shane did Coast to Coast, I was really excited, but at the same time, I'm like, you could kind of see whenever he does that move, like, he basically was like, here, person who's going to get hit with this trash can, hold this. Like, no one's going to hold that in your life. But the fact that Taker didn't do old school, I was a little upset about because I love that move. I don't know why. I just love watching The Undertaker walk on the ropes and do that. But he didn't do that. That was a little bit of a disappointment. But at the end, when Shane clipped the wires on the cage, I was like, okay, he's either doing this to climb the cage later on, or he's doing this because someone's going to interfere later. And I was just a nervous wreck the entire match. When Shane finally got Taker on the announce table and he climbed, I was just like, Taker's gonna move. He has to move. Taker has to move. And he did. And it was fantastic. Now that the match is over, I can say that I loved that match. And I think that it was a really good match. I'm glad that it wasn't Taker's last match. I'm wondering now what they're gonna do with Shane, because obviously this is not gonna be our last time that we see Shane McMahon. He's going to come into control somehow, and it's going to be amazing. But this match was awesome. I love seeing Shane out there with his sons, you know, the future of the WWE, you know, from the corporate side, seeing them out there. I loved that. I don't know. I loved the match, but while the match was happening, I hated every second of it. So that's my thoughts on that. After that, they did the stuff with the Hall of Famers. That was cool. It was cute. What was after that? Oh, you had the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and they had so many people in that Battle Royal. The fact that they brought out Shaq. Shaq was the celebrity in WrestleMania this year. Last year it was Ronda Rousey. This year it was Shaq. It was so funny. I really thought that they would keep a big person winning it just because it's the WWE and they do weird things like that. But they didn't. I was really excited to see DDP there. I love him, and I was really excited to see him there. But NXT took it, man. You couldn't have asked for a better ending on it. I loved it. But I wasn't too invested in that match, like, if it didn't happen. To me, like, last year, that was, I believe, a pre-show match. So the fact that it made it to, like, the next to last match, which is usually just a filler match in between like a Taker match and the main event, but I liked it nonetheless. And then you have the main event, which, like I said, it could have ended right there, and I would not have cared. Before the main event, I guess, before I get into the main event, I should get into the fact that The Rock was there, and he announced, they broke the attendance record. I had made a comment earlier in the night that the Wyatts were not present during WrestleMania. I was like, why are the Wyatts not here? Like, it makes no sense. I get that, like, Harper is injured right now and all that, but it makes no sense that they're just not there. And finally, The Rock came out, and then Bray Wyatt and his little minions came down. And let me just say, those masks looked like they should have been side by side with Frank's mask from Donnie Darko. Like, those masks, I want them. I want them so much. I loved Bray and The Rock going against each other. Honestly, I wish that whenever The Rock was like, yeah, let's have a match right here, I really hoped that it was sort of more of a legit match, and I would have loved to have seen it be Bray Wyatt versus The Rock. I think that would have been so amazing. They really need to use Bray Wyatt as more than... I just feel like every time they use him now, they push his he just pushes his brothers on the people, on his opponents. Like, he's like, okay, I don't like this guy. Here, brothers, go get him. And I really wish that he would just do it himself, because he is very talented. He's great on the mic. He's great in the ring. He's just an amazing talent, and I think that he needs to be used more, besides just, pushing his family on his own battles. But then seeing that, it was a new record shortest match and all of that kind of thing, it sort of, I got it. But I could have done without John Cena. John Cena came out, and I'm just like, seriously, guys, we can't have one WrestleMania without John Cena. You guys, like, John Cena was not missed at all in this WrestleMania. I did not miss him at all. I did not think about him at all leading up to WrestleMania. I was just like, who? John who? I don't remember him. Like, let's just have a WrestleMania without him. He came out, and I was just like, that was probably my most annoyed moment of the night. I did not need that. I did not want that. I did not like that. It was not needed at all. And now you have the main event, Triple H versus Roman Reigns, another match that I really did not need. I mean, it was an okay match. I really liked Triple H's entrance. I thought that Stephanie did a really good job with her part, her theatrics. Triple H's entrances for WrestleMania are always epic, and the fact that it was sort of Stephanie with the finesse and the fanciness of it this time, I thought that was really awesome. I, in turn, expected Roman Reigns to have an equally awesome entrance. And he didn't. He just came out to his regular entrance. There was a couple more lights and fireworks just because it's a bigger stadium. But he calls, the Roman Empire is a thing. He could have used that and had people, line up all up and down the entrance ramp dressed as, I don't know, Roman Empire people. And he could have done so much with that entrance. And instead, he's just like, oh, I'm just a guy. And I did not like that at all. I really think that, if you're headlining WrestleMania and your opponent has that kind of entrance, that you should also have some sort of entrance like that. And I was just a little disappointed that he just kind of was like, okay, regular entrance. The match was the match. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing that I've ever seen, but it definitely was not anywhere close to being the best thing that I've ever seen. I really didn't need that match. I wanted Roman Reigns to win the match simply because I'm sick of Triple H being a wrestler, and I want him to just not be a wrestler anymore. And I mean, he can wrestle, but having a title, I don't want Triple H to ever have any more titles. His time is over. Okay, it's over. It's done. Get over it. So to me, putting it on Reigns just gives it the opportunity to go to somebody else in the future. So I was going for Reigns simply for that. Obviously, Roman Reigns won. It was cool. It was whatever. I almost expected somebody to come out and, be like, you, and, challenge him or something. It didn't happen. WrestleMania sort of ended on a really lame note. There was no after show or any of that. It sort of ended really dully, but overall, I liked the program. I was very satisfied for it. And during after the very first match, I had decided I'm going to WrestleMania next year. You know, I've gone twice. I went to 27 and 28. They were amazing. Everything about WrestleMania week is the best thing ever, and I miss it. So next year, I'm going to Orlando. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be amazing. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to rewatching WrestleMania to see if there was anything that I missed. And other than that, if you want to hear my extended thoughts on, this is already a long video, but if you want to hear even more, listen to the Nerd Rage Renegades podcast whenever it comes out about this topic, because I will be, one, uncensored. Not that I censor myself on these videos, but I don't know, I just seem to be able to, like, go off more on that show. And it'll just be more thoughts. It'll probably be me a lot talking about Zack Ryder a lot, because I have a lot of Zack Ryder feelings. And that was probably the highlight. That was probably my favorite match, honestly, was that match, just because seeing him win, that was the best moment for me. I loved it. I was so proud. But that's all I have, so let me know what you guys thought of WrestleMania, your favorite matches, your least favorite matches, all that kind of stuff. So if I left any matches out, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And I will see you guys with the next video. So, bye!